Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. It's that time for the daily news. Um, Thank you, Scotty, for the breakdown for the event. I'll also be doing a Prizewall breakdown just like every weekend. Really appreciate it, Scott. Super helpful. Let me see. What were some of the notes Scott said? So the big change this one is it'll feel worse if you did well in Showdown, because of the bracket rewards and the pulls. Those aren't in this one. First in your bracket was like 1.5 million points and like pulls and stuff, right? So that wasn't here this time, so it might feel a little bit worse than it has in the past. Um, he did say, what else did he say? Um, Pretty standard scoring, a few less tour points, but everyone should have Armor King for CSS points. So it all sort of evens out. So should be pretty equal other than the showdown portion, which is not there this time. So you'll have to do a little bit more if you're somebody that was counting on showdown pulls and like we're doing that in lieu of spending to get what we would get the last few months. You're gonna have to do some other stuff. All right. With that being said, tours 7.77 million and a little bit of change. CSS new Ray is worth 2.225 million, a ton. Dom 200,000, Armor King 175,000, Alexa 150,000. That's Zombie Alexa. Zombie Alexa you do on a tour. As you can see, the rest you have to defeat boss with. So Ray is a level 23 and a level 14 for all of his points. New Dom is 200,000 on a level 18, and Armor King is 175,000 on a 14. All right, so that's where the stuff shakes out. First pull is worth 125,000, 25,000 bonus points after that. Your faction gives you 2.5 million points. Faction contest is important. Free to place faction maxes it. Mherex's faction maxes it. Rewards are also currency for the event. You can see this looks a little, I don't remember if it's normally this big. Top 50 get 5,000. Top 20, 6,000, 4 to 10, 7,000. So this looks good. You can add this to your medallion total for the faction leaderboard. Don't forget that when you're thinking about your medallions, okay? As far as the milestones, if your faction can max, which is super important, like I said, free to plays has been, and so is Mherex's, so about top 50, you get minimum 20,000 points or 20,000 Prizewall currency, up to 50,000 Prizewall currency, or the plate. The new Electric Wind Godfist, whenever you break 20 immobile gems, generate 49 greens at the end of your turn. It's mostly for new West Pop Ray. That's the best spot for it, right? So that's what we got cooking there. So that's this portion. Gold chest, you know, you're gonna get 1,000, some solo points, some Ray shards. Silver chest, yeah, you know. And then bronze, a little bit of prize wall currency, right? So hopefully your faction does all of it though. All right, now when you flip over to the solo contest, a free portal claims as 300,000. So that's 10 million in a very small amount of change. That's assuming, well, plus your CSS, but not counting Armor King. So you do 10 million in change and then add your CSS that you have to get your total, right? Final free milestones at 9899, right? And gold chest in this gives you some Ray shards. These heads, the tokens are super important. Prizewall currency there. Prizewall currency there. So yeah, you definitely want to get these for your Prizewall currency all the way to here. Now you can, if you do everything, you'll get 2 bonus milestones as well, which is some econ, and some econ. Not that exciting. Like 1 pull with everything else would get you here. Again, just a little bit of econ, not necessarily super exciting. Got to go a little bit farther, obviously, to get here. Still econ. So you don't actually start getting more Prizewall medallions until the 10.5 or 10 point, yeah, 10.5? Yeah, 10.5 milestone. And there's 2,000 there. Basically, and then 4,000 here. Basically, if you're not spending, You're not getting any additional Prizewall currency. So how this event is, like every boss battle, depends on if your faction maxes and if you get the bag. If your faction doesn't max and you don't get the bag, it's pretty much a horrible event and a horrible Prizewall. If your faction does max and you get the bag, it depends on what RNG says to you. Do you get the 50,000 max shards? Then all of a sudden, ooh, this is really good. Or the max Prizewall currency, or do you get the plate? Okay, it's really good. If you don't, not so much, right? So this is one of those events. It's completely boom or bust. If you get Ray, it's extra 2.2 million points plus his tours. It's basically completely dependent on getting Ray and your faction maxing to have a really good prize wall. So typically these are not great unless you get lucky. So just keep that in mind. We'll kind of flip over to the prize wall. We'll talk about the prize wall portion now a little bit and then maybe come back here. So tours, 2,500 free. That's based on previous months. So it could be there, could be different. Just keep in mind we don't know that. Free solo, 4,400. Bonus solo, free-ish 0. As I said, no more bonus till 10.5. Excuse me. Faction event, 3,000 in milestones, up to 10,000 in faction leaderboard, as I showed you, and then the RNG bag, 20 to 50,000. So your total free-ish is around 9,900, so basically 10,000, plus the faction leaderboard. You can maybe figure in 5,000 for that. You're at 15,000, and then your RNG bag. If you hit the max, you're looking at potentially 65,000 free, but probably more like assume 20, right? And you're around 35,000 free if you do everything else and you hit the minimum and you don't get a plate. So yeah, that's kind of that. With that in mind, let's look at the prize wall. Really hard to get Ray's gear. This is the much more important array than the plate. So if you have to choose between the gear or the plate, I would take the gear in this case for sure, even though it's more expensive. But if you get there, definitely take the gear over the plate. It also has complete Tekken branding, so I doubt this will ever be available outside of a Tekken event. Whereas the plate doesn't have like Tekken branding on the logo, so it could be available again. Plus the gear, Ray with the plate is not good. Really, he needs the gear. It's 2,000 green gem damage, 2,000%. So that's definitely the way to go, right? So, you know, free to play is 100% all over this 6-star pig boy. I will get that for sure, no question. You can see you're not getting any of these plates. Except unless you hit the max chest or spend. So you can just say goodbye to all of these, right? Unless you hit the max or you spend. If you spend, these are add 500%. They're really great. Frankie the Parrot, Punk's Gauntlets. Frankie the Parrot's harder to get than Punk's Gauntlets, so keep that in mind. Frankie the Parrot is best on like Powerhouse Austin. It's great on Coco. It's great on Alive Cody, just a ton of people. It's got a ton of spots, no shortage. Punk's Gauntlets is awesome on Acropunk, awesome on Striker Naya. That's probably my favorite spot for it. It's incredible on Devon, just to name a few. Trickster Live, right? Those are like I think I named 4. Those are like kind of the big 4. Right off the bat on that one, there's some more. Yellow Rumble, of course, is so useful in Titan, in particular for Penta. And Alistair Black, and then New Dom as well in Titan, right? Are some of the great spots. And then even out of Titan. And then Hall of Fame Goldberg, to name a few for the Yellow Rumble. And Bloodsucker is really, really good on Striker Austin with all the stuff. Like, really good. But I feel like it's not worth what the ultimate plates are. So I feel like that's the odd man out, to be honest. Unless you have one of the others and you don't have the Bloodsucker. It's a great plate, but it feels overpriced in this prize wall to me. Now, that's for spenders or if you get lucky, but if you're spending and you're close to here, like, I think the play is the Kazua gear, to be honest. For the reasons I stated. if you ever want to use Ray. If you don't care about Ray and you don't care about the gear, because Ray still isn't the best tech in the game even with the gear. So truthfully, guys, if I didn't have one of these three plates, I would take the plate over the gear. That's how I am. Because these three are super strong, and I know I can get a ton of usage out of them for a long time. Ray is harder to say. Now on the flip side, if you want to play devil advocate FOMO, this WCW Ray has a lot. He's already got a moment. He's already got this tech and gear. In the future, if they add another gear and then you can't get this gear, you know what I mean? So, and Scopely does love to give toys to Rays in this game, and DOMs for that matter. Moments, gears, that kind of stuff. So you never know. But in a vacuum, these three things are all more impactful to account than the gear. The gear is crazy on one thing only, but it still doesn't make him the best tech in the game, right? Some of these plates can literally make someone the best powerhouse in the game, potentially the best striker in the game, best trickster in the game for ladies, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, and the Rumble just unlocks so many things. So it's really hard to assign value. I do feel like the Bloodsucker's the odd man out, right? And this plate is really niche, like really niche. So even though it's like a super Royal Rumble, getting it to proc, there's only a limited amount of people, and most mobile cards in this game are very bad. So I feel like it's a super niche plate, and really only impactful on like Ray. Maybe there's a couple others. I haven't tested it at all other than Ray. But it's hard to imagine that the 2000 gem damage on Ray is going to be surpassed with that anywhere else. Seems unlikely. All right. LA Byte, the next bracket, we have this 35K and under, which you can potentially get to free. All of these, depending on your RNG luck. LA Byte's the odd man out in the Bubba Ray specs to me, because you can get them on the Showdown Prizewall. They're 250,000 each. They show up at least my free-to-plays league, so I think he's League 17 now. They at least show up at League 17. So I feel like they're the odd man out. I think the real treat here, if you don't have one, is the Will of Cargill or the Unbreakable Crown for May. Will of Cargill for Tech Gunther. That's who my free-to-play would be looking for this. And also for Jade, potentially. It adds green gem damage when you make 10 multiplies. But so Tech Gunther mostly comes to mind right away. Acropunk can use this as well, right? This is for Becky though, Showboat Bex. This is awesome on, by the way. But again, get it in the showdown. And May's Crown can be comboed with a lot of different things. It's potentially very useful on people like Liv, Technician Liv, and things like that. So yeah, it's pretty solid. Last Ride to Hell, not a ton of people it's great on. Dick Kick Cena comes to mind. That's basically it for the most part, I think. Keep in mind, guys, I'm kind of in a food coma. McRibs are back, and I had a couple McRibs. So yeah, there's that. Dropping down to this 21-9 bracket. These not really, right? I think you take this one for DK Cena. This has some potential uses, mostly in Titan, and then Control Freak is okay. I would say the Taker Plate, if you have DK Cena, for sure is the pick. The Total Silence has a few spots, but it's only 100% gem damage. When you make Silence Gems, it increases all of your gem damage, though. It's universal, so that's nice. So it's got quite a few spots, but it's an enhancer, not a game changer. So those are the two in that bracket I kind of really like. And Corporate Crown is actually a very useful MP plate, so I don't mind the pricing here. And Uncle Sam can be good, blue to red, make 10 if you don't have rumbles and stuff like that on people like Powerhouse Braun Strowman, Turtle Ray, things like that, right? So these are all fine, but I think probably I would find the most usage for this one of these three. Probably. Maybe this one, though. Maybe Uncle Sam. So between those two. Now, the shards are fine if you need them. If you can recruit somebody with these, I'd say go for it. Because, your plates at this range are not exceptional plates at 30,000 and below. So I think you're fine to take these shards even if you don't recruit someone, you're fine to take these shards, because you're not really missing out on a lot. So I think these are targeted fine if you want to get them. Um, yeah. Obviously, the Austin shards are continually serially overpriced in this game. DK scene is amazing. A lot of people got to be getting close to him. Ton of his shards have been on the wall a lot. He's the most useful at the moment card to have in Titan because hot tag is busted, but it will be fixed. We just don't know when. So keep that in mind. Dom shards are great value here. Straps are all garbage pricing. Don't get them, right? And then econ is what you do with your leftover. So that's kind of my breakdown on it. On Mherex, I'm 100% if I get there, I'm taking the gear over anything else. And if I don't get there, then I don't know. Because I feel like if I get close enough for any of these plates, I will spend to get there, like realistically. As far as the rest of them, I have a ton of all these plates, so really they don't matter to me, and I don't need any of the shards on Mherex. So to be honest, I probably would FOMO this on Mherex, because I don't need anything else. This is worth noting. You can change up to 32,000 points for these Tekken 8 Doria medallions. This is next week's Prizewall. However, we have no freaking clue how good 100 is. So this is completely at your own risk. No idea if these are good or not. But on Mherex, because I don't need anything else, if I can't get to the gear or I'd take the plate too if I got to the plate that I don't have. I always do that. But if I can't get to one of those two things on Mherex, I'm getting Ray anyway, so I doubt I would take him, right? I would probably exchange for those because I have the rest. Now, on the free to play, I'm all over, like I said, the Pig Boy offer. I'm going to get that for sure. One thing about Pig Boy is he's decent, and his currency for hype shows up in the store all the time. He's hype 3, I think, on both of my accounts because his currency shows up in the store, so I just keep snagging it. 10 at a time for 20,000 in the Titan store. So yeah, anyway, keep those Doryu medallions in mind, but it's total FOMO. So free to play will definitely snag that. And then I would probably be looking at something like the Corporate Crown. Unless I get to 37,000 or 21,000. I would take a first Last Ride to Hell for when I eventually get DK Cena, and I would take a first Will of Jade. I have on the free to play 2 of the Unbreakable Crowns. And these I'm just targeting from Showdown. So free to play would do that, would go this route. The other option I may do on the free to play actually though is I may gamble and just take what's his butt? Gacy, Pig Boy, and get these medallions in case there's something on that wall that it makes a difference, because there's not a ton game changing. That's assuming I don't get to the plates on the free to play, right? To these 37,000 plates. So that's a possibility as well, but that could be completely worthless. So anyway, guys, it's a tough wall to break down because it's a pretty, in most cases, if your faction doesn't max, so there's at least 50 factions out there, or around 50 factions that will max. Maybe if it's like normal, 40 to 50. That's only about what is that? 5,000 players or so. That have a shot at decent Prizewall selection. If you don't have that, it's pretty bad other than Gacy. And if you have Gacy and have him leveled up already, that's pretty bad. So yeah, I think for, maybe half the people watching this, there's a potential to get something if you need these. For the other half, there's absolutely nothing. And of the half the people, other than Gacy, and of the half the people that can maybe get something, it might not even be useful. So I feel like in most cases, unless you're a big spender, you're going to be like, man, this wall is rough. Unless you're a big spender, unless you hit crazy luck from the bag and your faction maxes. I mean, if you're a big spender, this is what you're going for, right? So yeah, this is unknown to us. So this is kind of a wild card, wrench in the cogs, so to speak, because we don't know what this is. So, man, for some reason my mouth is all froggy here. So that's kind of the Prizewall breakdown. Again, it's a really tough one for me to assess. It looks like a pretty bad wall to me in general. I wouldn't rate it highly. Although the free-to-play is happy about the 6-star bronze pig boy because I think he'll be useful. But it doesn't take a lot for me to necessarily get excited on the free-to-play. Anything that's an upgrade that I can get generally makes me excited. So keep that in mind. All right. So other than that, it's Titan Day, last day before the rest day. So jump in here and go ham with your peoples to get the stuff. It is not Tech Day. Technician is that Trickster Day, I think? Yeah, Trickster Day. So Trickster on Technician. So use your best Trickster. I will probably post a video tomorrow on Zombie Black on free to play. For this boss. I think I will do that on the free to play Titan takeover thing. And you know, make sure you're getting your stuff from here. Free to play didn't have anything it loves, so I just keep stacking Julius hype for the day I eventually get him. So that's what I'm at there. What else? Let's check the store. Yeah, some decent freebies today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-star Brett. If you don't have Foundation Brett, useful. I believe he's red finisher coach. Disciple at 6-star bronze for $7 with 2 pulls. If you miss Disciple, he's pretty solid. I like that offer. Oozing Machismo, Razor Ramon, for $20. I also don't mind this one. He's because you get something guaranteed. Now, he can hit hard with the right stuff, like Moment, his gear, Will of Jade plate, but it's very clicky, right? Very clicky. But he can hit hard, so he's kind of interesting in some ways. If you're a Razor Ramon, Mark, you can absolutely make him work. I have videos on my channel on that. I don't think too much has changed with him since those. But it is super, super clicky, but it's guaranteed with pulls. So if you don't have him and you want him, you know, I like the offers that it's guaranteed. I'm consistent on this. So 6-star gold King Kong Bundy, he's not great, but maybe if you're like Mherex, where I have literally him maxed at hype and I've never bought any hype or used any wild card on him, he can do a little bit for you, but not a lot. So you know, keep that in mind. But again, it's guaranteed with pulls. So if you don't have it, plus a 6-star gold, so newer account, that could be very useful. Plus shards. This offer is just TP and stuff. I don't like these faction points in it. This one is just, you know, these. I don't like that. I don't like this one. Buy the $100 offer on the portal with solo points, 47 pulls, and I think some medallions or something like that. These are whatever. I don't usually get these. I'm not getting them this month. Some people love them. I don't. And these are regular, right? So nothing that great there. There's 7 days left on the dual elite. No rush on that. Is they really going to leave the elite loot up? I feel like that's wrong. We'll look at that when we get there. What else? Anything else new? Oh yeah, these are new. Love this offer. If I was spending on this account, I don't have Dirty Dom yet. Getting him at 6-star silver would be great. I would totally get this. This I think is so far the best offer I've seen. Just because Dirty Dom is good with a lot of different builds. I really like this card. So yeah, I do like that one. These are whatever, you know. If it recruits him for you and you really want him, it's guaranteed 200 shards. You could do worse. Did I not talk about these yesterday? These are not for the weekend. So maybe I didn't talk about these yesterday. I don't remember them, but maybe I did. And then I don't like any of those because they're just that. The backstage is late. And free claim. Today it's 100,000 shards of these techs, so that's great. Love to see that. All the shards. I want all the shards. I'm going to be sad when these go away. These appreciation claims have been quite nice. And, ooh, let's see if we get anything exciting from the day. Free daily bag today. 20 ray shards. That'll help. And then we'll look at the tours before we do offer review, because I haven't checked out the tours yet. All right. So if you get Ray right away, 24 hours only, you get 15,000 extra Tekken 8 points. And then there's usually another tour for him on Sunday with extra stuff in it as well. We'll see what's in there. Potentially it could be gear, could be a plate, or could just be more Prizewall currency. I don't really know what they might do there, right? So he's the top one. He's what's required for that. Faction Boss Challenge has a lot of options here, including Seamus. So Zombie Seamus, Roger Rabbit, Disciple Kamala. This is a great tour with great CSS. Appreciate the CSS options here. Disciple can win without a lot. Rabbit can, everyone has, if they were playing, probably most everyone has if they were playing when he came out. Now, I don't. And then Zombie Seamus can do a lot with his setup. So I think this is a pretty friendly tour. I like this one. Challenge mode. Let's see what we got here. You need modern era. Otherwise it's open without the boost. It looks like talent required. Nope, it's technicians to get the modern era and tech, but most of you will have Gunther, so I think this is a great one to get through. Modern era tech. Let's see what hard is, if it'll tell us. It's going to be attitude era tech. That one's going to suck. So you probably won't get the CSS on that one. I'll probably just use Gunther on this. I don't know who I have on the free-to-play. I'd have to look. And then New Gen, which is where Razor comes in. This has the 2,500 Tekken medallions. They are right there. So, yeah, Razor is going to give you 2,500. Who else is a tech for New Gen? I should look on Mherex real quick while I'm going through the rest of this on those two, tell you who he's going to use. Because I'm having major brain fart there. All right. And then Tag Team Powerhouse. Your CSS are Abby the Witch, Bronson Reed, and Cody. They could be a little bit better. Lady in the lead, and guys in the second slot. So your guy can be weak if you have a strong lady. Doesn't matter. You can use any lady with the weak CSS. So I do like those kind of tours, right? So as long as you have one of those three, you're good. Most people, Cody or Bronson, right? Nikki is a little more rare. Tag Team Powerhouse, that's what we just looked at. So that's all of them. I'll check that challenge mode on Mherex on hard right now. So Attitude Era, it is Attitude Era tech. And so new Ray, NOD Rock, Lex Luger, Ken Shamrock are the big ones, right? So I would probably use Shamrock, or would be the one I would use of the more obtainable ones, or Lex. Well, those are the two obtainable ones, right? So yeah, and then as far as New Gen goes, I feel like New Gen has BPP as well, but I could be wrong about that. Techsteiner, which free-to-play just got recently. So New Gen is Hip Hop Cena Shredder. So Shredder's great if you have Shredder. That's who most people might have. Razor Ramon, the Oozing Machismo that they're selling, is an option. And yeah, Scott Steiner is as well. Tech Scott Steiner, New Gen. That's about it. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the CSS people. So you give it a whirl and see if you can get the 2,500 medallions if it's worth it to you. So that's for the tours. You got all weekend for those. Nothing else expiring, but worth noting over the weekend, make sure and finish these top Tekken 8 ones. The only ones I have left is the Dom tours on the free-to-play. Mherex is done with everything he can do. So get those done. Get your McCool tours done. If you have either Ray or Dom, get your victory tours done. And yeah, that's kind of where you're at. 24-hour tour, who hits hardest man for the speed tour, make sure and do that. So that's kind of your weekend. Tomorrow, light day with Titan off, and then just some boss battle stuff. And yeah, I guess that means we can look at the weekend loot, huh? Which is this one. Yeah, so be aware, even though that dual loot is posted for 6 days, don't buy it, and don't unless you're gonna do the elite loot, because unless it works on next week's as well. It might work on next week's, but you don't know what's in it. So yeah, not really a fan of that since this loot doesn't stay 6 days. If you remember when we were looking at that dual loot. Anyway, so the weekend, you obviously have a chance to get the gear in here. Oh, I updated, so it's a new look on the loot here. So, 4 guaranteed on the featured, or higher, and, on a 40 pull, and a 7 pull is a mega rare. So odds wise, featured is a whopping 11%. So on a 40 pull, you're gonna get like 4 additional features besides potentially the guaranteed. So a lot of featured. It's WCW Ray, some with gear and some without, and shards. That's kind of standard. Mega rare looks good at the start, so 7 pull, and odds on mega rare is 17.5%, so almost 1 in 5. And these are obviously all incredible. Really, 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 really. He actually had with the stuff. He's incredible. Really good. Really good. Really good. Good, but you know you might have him. Harder to get. These ones you probably already have. Potentially good with everything. These you already have probably, and now we get into Swoggle's in there. Maybe some not quite as good stuff. For sure. Definitely not quite as good stuff. Coco's in there too. Axe is in there. So it's really freaking diluted, but it does have a high rate. So it looks fine for a weekend loot with the chance at the gear. If you're going to do your pulling, it looks fine. It doesn't look like the best loot ever, but it also doesn't look horrible so far. Some okay shards. Ilya in the commons. That's bait. NOD rock in there. And some shards. Potentially some useful shards. I think it's fine for a weekend loot, but again, raise the A tier so you're basically getting him. If you're a spender, there's no way you're not getting him, right? So, or if you even do light spending, I mean, my free to play got the A tier and the S tier last month, so I don't know if this is the weekend you really want to spend. If you're a $20 spender, I wouldn't spend this weekend. I'd continue to save it. Like I said last weekend, see what happens next week, see what's on the midweek Tekken stuff, and then, you know, we got Black Friday coming up and some other stuff. So far, the weekends haven't been very great. This one isn't much different, with the exception of if you're a spender and if you're chasing Ray and the gear, then it's probably fun for you. I do like the Tekken collab a lot, but I feel like pending next week, it's been really disappointing so far to me, because there just hasn't been a lot to do besides a little bit of stip and a little bit of tours and just spending. So hopefully next week is way better for the collab, because so far I'm not really feeling it. Anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know what you think. I hope you have a good weekend. Good looking faction boss. I will try and do a boss prep guide after this short break, and then go back to recording. Those always take a lot of time. So I'll try and do that and post it after this. But you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. Appreciate the support. And good luck no matter what you're doing this weekend. And if you're not doing much, then have a great weekend doing stuff out of the game. It's getting close to that time of year. Holiday season's coming around. We got Thanksgiving creeping up on us, and then we got Christmas and all that jazz. So yeah, you know, enjoy the moments when you have them, because it can be stressful. So thanks for watching, guys, and good luck out there. Oh yeah, like, subscribe, and share, because it helps me out. And thank you all for watching. I do really appreciate it.